love this part of the service. Sometimes that light takes just a moment to come back up, but it reminds us to let our Christ light shine. Sometimes it's a little dim, and sometimes a little strong. And good morning, I'm Liz Leighton, and I'm your service assistant today. And I'd like to welcome you all, and if we turn around and wave to everybody at home, it would be wonderful. Good morning, and thanks for being with us online. We'd love to see you in person someday soon, if that is amenable to you. So we always welcome you, your family, and your friends to Unity of Bellingham, where we honor the universal truths in all religions and respect each individual's right to choose their spiritual path. Is there anybody who might be here for the first time today? If you could just raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. Well, welcome home, everybody. It's good to see you again. Today, Reverend Frank's message, see, I had it right here so I could just know it. The master dances the salsa. Spicy. So we're looking forward to that. And our musician today is our wonderful Cheryl Hodge. And Kate Curtis will be leading our music today.
Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way, heaven guide me, heaven show me the way, when I'm lost and confused, heaven lead the way, when I'm reaching for you, will you meet me halfway? Heaven guide me. Heaven show me the way. Heaven guide me. Heaven show me the way. When I'm lost and confused, heaven lead the way, when I'm reaching for you, will you meet me halfway? Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way, heaven guide me, heaven show me the way.
This morning, I'm going to share with you our prayer from today's daily word, that we pray knowing that the Christ within is our source of freedom. Freedom is our spiritual birthright. We live our freedom when we speak our minds, pursue our dreams, and live with dignity and self-respect. We are self-directed and use our spiritual gifts of understanding, faith, love, and strength to guide our decisions and our actions. As we do, we feel free. We do what we can to support freedom for ourselves and for others. We honor and give thanks for all those whose courage and dedication in service have helped build a world where all people can know true freedom. Let's take the next moments to say aloud the names of those for whom we pray to know freedom, to heal, to prosper, to grow in spiritual understanding and faith. Marlo, Mary Margaret. In prayer, we envision a harmonious human community that assures everyone's basic needs are met, respecting different viewpoints and celebrating the unique expression of God that each person is. And from 1 Peter 2:16, as servants of God, live as free people, yet do not use your freedom as a pretext for evil. So let's now sink a little deeper into our chairs as we relax and let go of the events of the past week and the upcoming days ahead. If you'd like to shut your eyes and just relax. Take a deep cleansing breath and just feel your body relax, your shoulders untighten, your hands comfortably in your lap or at your side. Affirm with me, I am centered in spirit. Together, I am centered in spirit. And once more, I am centered in spirit. Let my words be your words. I am part of an infinite circle of spiritual light that illumines the world. Knowing that I am one with God deepens my understanding of a great power and presence within me. As I open to my awareness and faith, I find insight and direction on my spiritual path. As I grow in my spiritual understanding of love, light, and divine wisdom, I understand more deeply that I am guided to my oneness with God. I become the master of my thoughts, my words, and my actions, because I know that I've been guided by Spirit to know the truth and the light of who I am. And as the poet William Henley wrote, I am the master of my fate and the captain of my soul. I am centered in spirit, one with the wisdom, guidance, and love of God. And for this, I am grateful every day. And I know that all we need is love.
There's nothing you can do that can't be done. There's nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. There's nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that cannot be saved. There's nothing you can do but you can learn how to be you in time. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Isn't that true? Amen. There's nothing you can know that isn't known. Yes. Nothing you can see that isn't shown. Isn't that true? There's nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. Sing with me. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love, love. Love is all you need. You know, there's nothing you can do that can't be undone. Nothing you can sing that can't be unsung. There's nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play. It's easy. Still, there's nothing you can make that cannot be made. And there's no one you can save that cannot be saved. There's nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's so easy. Come on now, let's sing it. Stand up. All you need is love. All you need is love. Let's clap. All you need is love. Love. One more time, let's do it. Everybody sing really loud. Let's go. Raise the roof. Let the universe hear you. All you need is love. All together. All you need is love. All together now. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. 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 Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. Thank you, Kate.
I know. That was one of the best renditions of that song I've ever heard. You did it better than, it was some little group from England, right? Yeah. Stay there. So today, the master dances salsa. And for those of you who have been with us for this is like the 4th week now, we've been doing this unfolding idea of consciousness. And this comes from the literature that I found from the Unity School of Christianity, maybe 30, 40 years ago. But it goes a lot deeper. And after I looked at this piece, and I think we've talked about it, where there's the stages or ladders of consciousness, but I've started to realize that a metaphor that works for me a little better is like I'm opening a door into me. And then there's another door, and I'm going deeper into me. And I invite you to consider the same path. And there's another door into myself. And we keep moving deeper and deeper into the very essence of who we are as the Christ. And it's the final door we get to. We go, I'm the Christ. If we're staying way out here and we haven't gone in any doors yet, you're going, yeah, I've heard about that. I've heard about it. But we have to go in the doors. And then, so we went through these stages, which we called victim, victor, and then the next part we call vessel, or the person through whom things flow like a channel. We talked about in the unity tradition, we call that consciousness where we stand of the divine flowing through us as the mystic. And there's one, and that's what we did last week. A few weeks ago, we worked at victim, victor, and then we worked at mysticism and the mystic and what that means to be that mystic person walking in the world. And this week, we're going to talk about the master. The master. And then I thought two things. The first thing is, it feels a little almost like, do I really talk about what a master is? I mean, can I talk about it? And the answer is absolutely I can talk about it, and so can you. And every person in this room is called to be at the master level of consciousness and expression in the world. Yikes. Sorry. It's how it works. This is the pattern. This is the call. This is the invitation. This is the doors that are opening. This takes a little courage to get there. So that's the first thing I learned, is that we all, every one of us, and I'm not, not only do I feel that, do I sense that, do I claim that there is times and there is an energy and there is a way that I show up as master, and maybe sometimes I don't, but there is times I show up and so do you. And I want to talk about that today. Like, well, what does that mean? What is that door that opens? How do I step into that? Should I choose? How do I make it? So that's the first thing I learned. The second thing I learned getting ready for this talk was I really don't want that sign on our church anymore. Who knows what that sign says out there? The sign on the building of the center. It says Unity Spiritual Center Bellingham. What? For positive living. Yeah, for positive living. Okay. Contest at the end of the talk. If we could change that sign, what would we change it to? Okay, plant that seed. And we haven't changed the sign because we knew they were doing construction on the road and we had to take down our sign on the road, and then we didn't know, would you be able to see the sign, and what about the trees, and blah, blah, blah. We didn't know. But next year, we know. We know what this is going to look like, and so we get to change the sign. What are we going to change it to? Signs are expensive. We're going to do it once. Let's get it right. Let's get it so that it expresses really how we want to show up here and what we understand is our calling. There's this energy that I first found this in Paul Hasselbeck, a book I took when I was in ministry school. This sense of victim, victor, vessel, and verity. They called it truth, the master level, the truth level. And then there's archives. Unity has great archives. And I went digging through and I found this whole manual that talks about the regeneration, the Holy Spirit regeneration, they called it. Regeneration, not so much resurrection, although resurrection is fine, but they talk about the regeneration, the rebirth, the regrowing, the transformation. Ooh, there's a good word for a sign, by the way, hint, hint. Center for Transformational Spirituality? For spiritual transformation? Okay.
I like that.
Pin in it. Let's, and we don't have to decide today, but this is, what? So anyhow, let me go back. Victor, victim, victim, victor, victor, victim. These first two layers, and I'm not going to go back and rehearse all this, but too much, but that first sense, and I want to talk about it, and I'm going to end this whole talk with a discussion on how you pray from these different levels of consciousness. Practically, what does this mean, and how do we use it? But there is this center of consciousness where it seems like the world is happening to me. I'm showing up, the world out there is doing things, and they happen to me. And then I gotta struggle to find out how I'm gonna deal with it. So I'm always reacting. It happens, I react. Something happens, I react. Usually it's like, I'm reacting. And a lot of times that shows up in reaction in fear and anger and frustration and disappointment. And oh my God, you never win. We started this conversation on Dia de los Muertos. And the discussion was, in that level of consciousness, the ultimate seeming end of this expression of who we are is the Christ showing up as us, we always are going to lose. Because in the end, seemingly so far, except for maybe a few exceptional people, this expression ends. We lost. But that's only because we see it from that level of consciousness. And it's all about reacting. So the way past this reaction consciousnness is not victim, but we're the victor. We won. And the challenge with victim-victor is we're caught in this incessant dualism. And I want to suggest to you that the whole unity movement, actually, to my understanding, and to at least what draws me in when I hear about spiritual truths and the spiritual paths, is the ones that step beyond the dualism. And I'm not saying it's any one religion. Oh, you can go on the history of the what they call the church fathers, and they were fathers, they weren't women. But Tertullian and Origen and all these original thinkers, Augustine, boy, they could be steeped in the dualism. Heaven, hell, pick. It's a binary, you only get one choice. And we live life like, I want to go there, I don't. Where's there? There is here. What did Paul say? This whole thing, this whole game, this whole salvation thing, it's about right now. 2 Corinthians. That whole thing is about right now. It's not about later and a dualism of where I'm going to go in And we know that's out there. And it's so caught up in this dualism of either or and good and bad. I love the Tao concept. It's heaven and earth. It's not a dualism. It's a play of the states of our reality. The qi and the li, the Tao, the yin and the yang, and the play of the oneness. Oh, it shows up and we see these energies and this movement of energies between different forms and different states. Energies and matters and patterns, all coexisting to create, to outpicture so much variety and so much beauty. And its tensions and its working, its energies working with and against each other, not as a dualism of good and bad and right and wrong and who's going to win, but as a creative tension of things that rub against each other, so we could all move forward into new pathways, into new evolutions, into new emergence. Always with the underpinning of what's the good, what's the beautiful, what's the true. That there's the wave that brings us forward. And it changes, and it's going to change again. Things are going to change. You don't like what happened last week, it'll change. And then that will change, and then that will change. This path of the movement, of the energies. Yeah. And in the victim-victor, it's like, well, I want to be the victor. I want my way to win overall. And then sometimes it doesn't. Am I going to feel like, oh, now I'm the victim? And we want to get out of the dualism. Because I find when I'm in that mindset, it's just frustrating. And then I'm elated, then I'm frustrated, then I'm elated, then I'm frustrated. Do that if you want. I find it like exhausting. So the next stage, and we talked about this last week, was the stage of mystic, the stage of the mystic. So here's what's really interesting. If victim is reacting, and victor's responding, and some of the feeling of victor, and what's really beautiful about it is, in the victor consciousness, we get out of the victim consciousness. And how do we do it? We use a lot of the tools that unity provides. Affirmations and denials. Not affirming the apparent negative, the apparent something's wrongness of things, but co-creating with God, responding with the divine, so we can respond with. And together, we affirm that despite the apparent circumstances, I affirm that the wholeness and the fullness and the divine presence is there working in and through things. It really lifts me out of victim. It can lift us out of victim. So we pray, we meditate, we go to classes, we study books, we come to Sunday service, all this to create practice. The practice that gets us out of this thing. And I don't know why. I think maybe it's just the way we are. It's just we want to be, victim victor. It's just the ego wants it. Win at all cost. Wants to win. And when the spiritual path comes up, the ego goes, you're killing me. No, it's not. It's not a matter of destroying the ego. It's just telling it it's not in charge. You're not the boss. My kid, you kids when they're about 3 or 4, did you ever have them go, you're not the boss of me? Yeah, we've all heard that, right? And you go, yeah, well, actually we are. And it's kind of a great metaphor for our ego. Our ego's like a 3-year-old going, you're not the boss of me. I want to be in charge. But you know what you're doing. You're 3. It's this maturation to say, to allow the ego to be the servant of the self, the servant of the higher essence of who we are, the power that allow the ego to say, you get stuff done, we need you. But we're gonna decide to get stuff done by being co-creators with God. That's the victor. The mystic, this next step, the mystic says, it steps beyond that whole play of that dualism and says, I am gonna show up and allow the divine to express through me. And it's not that we forget about any kind of play in the world. We respond, not react, respond from a consciousness of service and a consciousness of all we need is love and a consciousness of knowing how we can show up and be this compassion and be this service and be this love and be this caring, and be this understanding, and be in this creative energy that can work through things to build the brightness and the world that we feel aligned with a divine heart and divine soul and being in that alignment. How can we outpicture what's next? Understanding that I think I get it. I think I know. I'm aligned with God. This is what I think. And not having the hubris to think, and because I think it must be right, but just knowing that here's how we're unfolding. And we don't do this alone. Mystics do best, as do masters, as do all of us when we work in community. And one of the beautiful things about class is clarification of thought. This is how we see it. Go into Way of Mastery or go into, the Falling Upward class or all the other class or all the other pieces of the Monday morning group or any kind of book study you do that's apart from you. Let's clarify our thoughts. We want to align with the divine. We want to allow the divine to flow through us. But let's be sure, to the best of our humble knowledge, we're working in the right direction. We understand that resonance, that coherence, that harmonization with the divine mind, with the divine thought, with the divine soul, with the divine energy, with this faith that aligns truthfully with what the next best step for the good, the beautiful, the true, the loveliness of the divine that flows through. Let's be sure we understand it, and let's do that. And we respond with each other, with the divine working through us. That's the mystic. And we talked about that last week. Yeah, we all caught up? Okay. This week, master. And I want you to notice that this whole time when I've been talking about God, the victor, the God, not only is life getting me, God's getting me too. We feel victim to God. And when we say it, but just by the nature of how I'm speaking, I'm making it God and it. And then when we're victor, we're co-creating with God. And once again, if I'm doing something with something, it's me as it and God as it. We're into me, you, it. That's fine. And I'm not knocking any of this. Please understand. This is we're just inviting ourselves to look at the pattern. That's all I'm doing, inviting ourselves to look at how it works, so that we can invite ourselves to keep opening doors to different levels of awakened awareness and consciousness. We're just looking at it. And nowhere, and please do not leave here and go, yeah, well, they're a victim and I'm a victim, but none of that. This isn't a who's better game. Because whenever we think who's better, we know we're not. If we want to be holier than thou, we're not. Yeah. There's there's the sense of I'm opening up, and then in the master consciousness, I'm not saying I'm doing anything with God or God working through me, and I'm not making God another. In this state of consciousness, God is not an it. God is. God is principle. God is being. God is love. God, it's not the God who loves me, although I love there's a God who loves me. But at the master level, it's there's an energy of the divine, and I'm it. I'm it. And in one state, you can say, God loves me, and God's working through me. And now I just say, yeah, I'm it. I get it. That, how am I breathing? How are we sitting here communicating and breathing and talking and living and loving? And there's a very energy of the divine that is breathing us. The breath that is our breath is the divine. We even have the name for it, spirit, and inspiration, respiration, conspiration. We talked about that last week. Breathing together, we conspire together. From the master consciousness, Jesus said, my Father and I are one. I'm the vine, and the divine is the vine. I'm the branches, you're the branches. I'm the vine, I'm in you, you're in me. It gets very confusing. We're just all it. And in that master consciousness, of course, community is essential. We're just the same. We're the same essence, the same being, the same love, the same divine, the divine isness that's expressing in all these beautiful ways. And here we are showing up. And when we live from that energy, just like the mystic, we're in the same way. We're just showing up and being understanding that this ongoing unfolding. The mystic might say, I'm breathing, I'm allowing this vessel, it's unfolding. The master level says, what? Unfolding to where? To later? What's later? Before? What's before? I'm just in the isness of the divine. It is. I am. Gets a little funny to talk about our words. We like talking about subject, verb, object. And when we switch and we start talking about just is, it's not our normal way of being. And then if the victim is reacting, and the next stage, the victor, this what we'd have metaphysical tools to overcome victimhood, to be these victors. And from there, it's like I'm working with God. I'm co-creating. I'm co-praying with. It's a with the divine. And if the mystic is the divine, and I'm just an open vessel. I'm an open allowance of the divine to flow through me, a channel of peace, as Saint Francis would say. Always the divine. And then in the master, I know it. It's like there's nothing out there doing something to me in here. I've opened the door and went like, oh, there you are, I am. Here we are. There's a piece that Paul calls in Corinthians. He says, don't you know you're a temple of the divine? A temple of the divine? We read in Way of Mastery, don't you know you're an ashram of God? You are the ashram. Not going to, not flowing through, we're it. And we have oftentimes that realization. I know everybody in this room knows this. When you're walking in the woods one day and you just stop and you just go, yeah. It may happen for a moment, it may have a long moment. In meditation, it's like we're all of a sudden we're in this place of meditation where there's not me and you. It's just we're it. And Jesus, a master teacher like Jesus of Nazareth, lived in that energy. And one of the ways that outpictures this master energy is and I want to talk about this in prayer. But first, there's a rhythm to this. There's a rhythm to the master. And we talked about this when we did the Gospel of John, but something I noticed, a pattern. The pattern is, and we're in this world and we notice, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. And then the master and the mystic decide, I need to show up. Not show up and like win or lose, but show up in a place of, from a higher level of consciousness, how do I, from the mystic, allowing the divine to flow through me, show up and respond to this situation in a way that's focused and right, aligned with the divine will. I'm not going to respond out of my anger, out of my frustration, out of my madness, out of my win-lose consciousness. I'm going to respond out of the divine flowing through me, and then wants to speak and wants to say from a very clear place. And if we don't know, well, what is that? Okay, so stop. Well, what is that place? What if I don't know? We have the Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are the peacemakers. We have those. We have the parable, and they said, and he separates the sheep and the goats, and he says, well, I loved when you visited me in the hospital. I loved when I didn't have clothes and you supported me. I loved when I was naked and you clothed me. I loved when I was hungry and you fed me. I loved when I was thirsty. I loved when I was in prison and you supported me and you comforted me. And they said, when did we do that? Anytime we do it, we're doing it aligned with the divine. We have all these, not only Christian scripture, but all these, all the spiritual tools. It gives us 100 things that we can show up. And this is the mystic showing up as love, and then the master, just all of a sudden, it's not even like God flows through me. It becomes the nature of who I am. It's just the nature of every breath. God's not flowing through me. I all of a sudden realize that's me. In the Gospel of John, it says that Jesus, there's so many stories like this. The water and the wine, that's a great one. And I think we talked about this a few months ago, but Jesus goes and they say, Jesus, they're out of wine at the wedding. So first thing, I'm aware. Something's going on, I'm aware. And so I'm going to use whatever is simplest. It doesn't take some extravagant finding of something new, and extravagant ritual, an extravagant element of finding some strange, important, very exotic materials. Jesus said, get some water jugs, like clay vessels, like that. Just go get some and fill them up with water. So simple, so available, so ready, right at our finger, clay vessels and filling up with water. It wasn't a big deal. And then they said, okay. And Jesus said, okay, there you go. I said, what do you mean there you go? He goes, there you go. And they're like, and they go, what? And they test it and they go, that's great wine. The master. In the master consciousness, here's what I find. There's not a lot of fanfare. Not a lot of, well, isn't that special? Not a lot of special words or special incantations or special prayers or special rituals or special anything. No incense, no magic book. It's the consciousness of the presence of the divine that is so in one, and not even, see, when I say oneness, it implies two things. It's just the isness. And in the master consciousness, what we just imagine for the good, and the good manifests itself. And oftentimes, you notice in that story, the good doesn't manifest itself until there's seemingly something that's unaligned with this peace. Will you do this with me? A salsa dance? She'll remember. You got a tune? Let's see how the salsa works.
I gotta tell you, I'm feeling a little victim right now.
Does anybody else want a salsa dance?
Can I go back to it?
You can.
I did not know he was gonna do this.
Yeah. I think we
You're
remember.
dancing together, right?
We'll just do this very simply. Do you have
Watch out for the step.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, stop. 1, 2, 3, stop. 1, 2, 3, pause. No, you see. Ready? Yeah, I just want to show them. Left. 1, 2, 3, stop. 1, 2, you see? This is the master dance. Okay. Okay, you can sit down. I can't believe you can just pull that tune out. It's like, do you see the dance? 1, 2, 3, stop. 1, 2, 3 is a stop. I see the issue. I respond appropriately, and I get out of the way. I allow the divine. And it's a dance. It's fun. Being in the presence of the divine, it is joy. I should say it's joyful. Sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes the salsa dance includes a lot of grief. And sometimes salsa dancing involves a lot of sadness. So what do you do with that? You feel it. That's it. You don't go, I'm a victim, somebody make it better, someone make a victor and fix me. We don't even necessarily need to be a mystic and say, well, I'm gonna now bring the energy of God to you and fix it and make you feel better. Don't feel better. Feel what you feel. I feel it. I somehow respond to it, and then I stop. A master dances salsa. Jesus says, they're like, oh, there's an issue, you're out of wine? Fill up the water vessels. From the master perspective, the good is just always in this vibrational match, this coherent pattern, this harmonization. What outpictures in the mystic's energy is always to the unfolding to the good. And you can look at that story literally, and you can look forward to it metaphysically, and in either way, that story makes a lot of sense. It's about transformation. Transformation. The mystic dances salsa. Allow that divine energy of our presence to make a difference in the world. And I'm asking all of us, I'm asking me, I'm asking you, I'm asking all of us, here's my suggestion. Let's not assume that this is impossible for us. Let's know that when we show up in the master consciousness, we are changing the world. As a matter of fact, you want to change the world? This is how we do it. Or we can be a victim and fight back and be a victor, and be a victim and fight back and be a victor, and then we can pull out our words weapons or our swords weapons or whatever weapons, and we can keep playing that game. I'm done with that game myself. Yeah. Kind of bored with it. I'd like to move on. At least move in. Now I got a minute. This mystic energy, first off, this movement into mystic and then into master, I was digging in the Unity archives. And we always think that unity, so much of unity was founded like E.B. Weeks and Mary Baker Eddy or some of these other great New Thought teachers. But there is material that our Dr. Emily Cady, who the Fillmores got her to write the material in their magazine because they knew they wanted this thing, unity. They felt it, they knew it, but they just didn't quite have the words yet. So they got Dr. Cady, and she started writing articles in Unity magazine, and the Fillmores were learning from her, and her first series of articles went into a book called Lessons in Truth. And if you become a new Unity member, which we have a class in March, we read that book. That's like the primer for this New Thought Unity consciousness. And where did she get it? And there's references that she goes back and talks about her learning from this book in Italian, is it Theologia Germanica? She read this book about the German theologians. And who wrote that book? A guy named Toller. And who was his teacher? Meister Eckhart, the mystic. And who did he learn from? Hildegard of Bingen, the mystic. And you read Emily Cady, she's talking about Hildegard. She's talking about Meister Eckhart. She's talking about the Rhineland mystics, the medieval. She's talking all about mysticism. What's the foundation of unity? It's, we say, oh, it happened in the 19th century. It goes back to the 1100s, man. these threads of mystical consciousness, and these threads of this master level thinking, they go back deep into the mystic tradition. And from there, you can trace them back. You can you can just go down the rabbit hole of all the great teachers and the Hermetic teachings that came out of all the rest. But these great mystics. We talked about Hildegard the other day, the greening energy of the divine. And it's not about God being an it. It's about God being greening energy, this energy of life, not flowing through me, the greening energy of each of us, this effluent energy, not God as a noun, but God as a verb, and we allow that isness to be the isness of us. Yeah. It roots, deep roots of unity, this stuff. The filmers were in the channel of this, and they went, wow, let's do that. And they added to it, of course. They had their way. The United States of America, it's beautiful. So I want to end really quickly with prayer. And we're going to continue this next week with Connie Monroe, this idea of prayer. But the prayer of, and so caveat, there's no right or wrong. If anybody prays, good for them, good for you, good for me. Any prayer is a good one. Not praying is hard. But there is a way we could think of a victim-victor prayer. A victim says, everything's going wrong. Somebody out there help me, fix it. You know, I'm a victim. God, you fix it. You know, it's something out there. Something other than me has got to do it because I can't. Victim prayer. And that's not wrong or bad. I'm just saying, do you see the energy? The victor prayer says, and here's this beautiful affirmative prayer, you know. Let's think of something you want to pray for, whatever it might be. Healing, prosperity, changes, something new in your life. Got something in mind? And you could say something like from the place of healing. You know, there's a healing I need. God out there, please. There's a prayer that's called, God help me. That is a really good prayer. If nothing else, do that. God out there, help me here. Great prayer. But I'm suggesting there's another step. The divine, I'm going to affirm the truth I know, that the truth of my life is wholeness. It is well-being. It is goodness, and it's transformational. And I'm going to claim that power of the divine right now, given that there's this issue, I'm even thinking, I'm getting chilled on something for myself. There's an issue of healing, and I will claim this divine power, which is the truth of the universe, working with me and cooperating with me in my body in this healing process now. Isn't that beautiful? Affirmative prayer, positive prayer, practical prayer, metaphysical, absolutely beautiful. Our sign sort of indicates that outside. It's a center for positive living. We see that. Good, all of this there's no good or bad. I'm loving all of this. But I offer to you, there's the mystic's way of praying. And the mystic's way of praying, it says, there's an issue right now, and I have what I think is what I have in my mind a solution. I'm going to allow that to leave right now. And I'm going to be open to however the Spirit needs to move through me now to bring about this issue in my life to manifest to the greatest good for me and for all. You know? And how many times have we seen, and people even share this, they're going through something, even something very difficult, and they say to me, it's always shocking, I'm wondering how they're doing. They're going, I have learned so much about myself. You wouldn't believe what's happened to me. This terrible thing has showed me all these new things and all these new possibilities and potentialities and all these changes in my life. I'm like, wow. The mystic allows the divine to move through and opens up new ways of looking and seeing. And the final way, do you feel that? Do you see that, the nuance there? Yeah. And from the place of the mystic, what would our sign say? And from the place of the master goes into this I'm suggesting is the prayer for the master. And this is just my suggestion. This is open for discussion. Let's be masters. And a community of masters dialogues with each other and says, what did you find? How did it feel to you? What did you discover? How is this working? What is your practice showing? What new can we learn? How do we lift up each other? And from the place of the master, I'm not asking for a God out there. It is the isness of the truth. And so from the place of the master, I can see, here's a physical healing. And we find that place in our souls, if you will, in the ashram or the temple of our heart. And we say, here we reside, and here the divine. There's no divine in us. It's just the presence of this divine energy. It is me. Not as me, not through me. It is. And from that place, all the cares and concerns and what I have, I just hold them right there in the reality of my goodness, of my well-being and wholeness. And I don't even have to get into the judgment of what else is there. Do you feel that energy? Do you know that master energy? Let's do this prayer for our friends. And I want to allow this energy, this master energy that I'm speaking of, we'll allow it to spread out from our hearts to the hearts of some of our friends. If you'd be so kind, if you're a veteran, tomorrow's Veterans Day. How many veterans? Would everyone who's a veteran, would you be willing to come forward for a moment? We'd like to give you a prayer. Come on up, vets. What color? Orange? Okay. Red? Yellow? You're yellow? Okay. Move on down, fellas, and women and men. Orange, Dean? Yeah, Frank, a red one for you? J. Scott, red, orange, yellow. Yes. This goes with your shirt. Yeah. All right. Oh, missed a couple more. There you go, my friend. Red? Okay. Yeah, you have choice this year. And now, yeah. So let's pray for our friends from the consciousness of the Master. So if you would, just close your eyes for a second and sink into that temple of your heart. Take a breath. Feeling into that connected presence of the divine that is the center of your heart, the essence of you, the essence of us. Take another breath. In this temple of your heart, peace reigns, beauty reigns, distractions are eliminated, and we sit into the energy that we are good, that all life, all this divine play of consciousness is conspiring for us, not against us. In this temple of our hearts, we resonate with this goodness of the divine. We claim it as the energy of our nature, which it is. Take one more breath. And then take all that energy to your heart. Hold your hands forward and let it loose. Let it out. Just embrace our friends and gratitude for their service. We bless you. We thank you. We behold the Christ presence that you are.
I would like to also recognize the veterans who gave all to live us today.
Thank you. Amen. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, everyone. Can we go? Just a few announcements. Oh, so today's animal blessing, I see some animals. And if you want to do your, did you forget? Did you have an animal to bless? I saw some. Anyhow, if you didn't bring your animal, but you want an animal blessing, you can still come. Where are we going to meet, LM? Right? You want to meet right here? Okay, right in front. I see some animals here. Maybe there's some in the car. And if you want your animal blessed but didn't bring your animal, still come forward because LM will do a blessing. For the animal, we have a little gift bag for all animals we're going to bless. And we know that energy, whether they're here or not, moves forward. The blessings move forward in the presence of the divine. Yeah. Okay. Also, it's earth care. So 2 things on earth care. Second Sunday is typically earth care. And of course, we're doing the animal blessing, which is a beautiful thing just to love all of earth. But Jim did tell me, and if anybody wants to hang out, he's got a truckload of tools, and after the animal blessing or during, there is some trail building. Ooh, the trails are coming along. So hold on, they're almost ready. We want to be sure people can walk up and down without tripping and such. But there's a couple cutout spots for meditation in the back, 4 acres, to be unveiled soon. We did make an application to Unity Worldwide. They asked for the Green Excellence Award for unities around the country and around the world that are doing things for earth care. And so we applied. Somehow, some way, our application got lost, and the awards came out. We didn't get it, and I thought, well, that's okay. I mean, maybe. So I resent it and said, just tell us, what else would we want to do? I mean, it's okay if we didn't win. We'll try next year, But then they saw our award. They said, we never saw this. It was lost in the mail. We love it. And so we won. I know. So there's, on the website, on UWM's website, there's 13 unities in the whole country mentioned as Earth Care Green Excellence Awards. They'll add our name. But at the there was our annual business meeting for UWM, for Unity Worldwide, has an annual business meeting. So I went to it, and there was a little report. And they talked about all the people who won. And they said, we want to show one kind of interesting thing, because we've never seen this before on the award. They pulled up ours, and they showed pictures of the Black Hawk singers, the Lemmy dancers, dancing on our stage to bless our trees. Mm-hmm. And they thought, we've never seen a unity that brought in a nation, of indigenous nation, to do a blessing at their church. So not only did we win, we got on it was really cool. Thank you. I think you introduced us to them. Yeah, you guys. Yeah, Larry and Eugenia kind of introduced us to Solomon and that whole gang. So we got national recognition for that event. So yay, doing beautiful things. We're victors. We won. All right, let's start the talk over. Oh, okay, anyhow. Here's a fun thing. So next Sunday, one Sunday only, is our Christmas craft fair. You want to talk about it? How many, like 6, 7 vendors, I think? Okay, 6 or 7, we'll set it up in the room again. So right after service next Sunday, can you believe it? We're doing Christmas craft fairs already. You know it's coming. And so this room will be full. We have a large number of vendors. If you remember it last year, we actually did it for a few weeks. But what we found was the first week was the big week. So 1 week only, next Sunday, and we have some lovely stuff that's going to be in the room. So it's Christmas shopping time. So do that. Oh, and then 2 Sundays later, okay, the first Sunday after, so this, and JP's coming, right? Okay, so here's what's going to happen first Sunday of December. It's a potluck, right? First Sunday. And during the potluck, during our auction, Eugenia bid and won, outbid me. Well, we had a good, thing going. Outbid, but anyhow, she won the JP concert, JP Falcon Grady concert. So she is now donating that concert to us. JP will be here like right for or during the potluck to do some Christmas music for us, I think, and others. So yeah. And, okay, even to make it more fun, everyone's be in the Christmas spirit. We'll be well fed from the potluck. We'll be in a good mood. So bring your like old t-shirts and stuff, because right after that, we're going to do 3 things. 1, we're going to decorate for Christmas, and usually Kelly will be, you'll tell us we'll get the trees down and stuff, and we'll do the decoration. Okay. 2, we're going to paint the kitchen, get it spruced up Because Malin's been working hard in there and other people, and they got all the wallpaper off and everything you've noticed, but now it just needs a good coat of paint. And I think you and Rosemary have been doing a lot, and Greg as well. And 3, did you ever notice when we got these chairs, there's this piece you put in them that's like a little catch underneath where you can put a book or your program or something, and they're all sitting piled up in the thing. So what we're hoping for is we're going to have a get ready for, sing your Christmas songs, have a potluck, and stay 1 hour. 1 hour if you can, and let's get all these chairs ready. We'll do a little splash of paint. We'll put up our Christian decorations. We'll have it nice spoofed up for Christmas, for Advent, okay? Okay, so be excited for that. December 1st. And then December 4th is our contemplative service for Advent, Loss and Light. And it's just a great time if you've never been before. We know that coming into Christmas season and just the seasonal energy, it's getting darker and later, and a lot of stuff comes up for me, for a lot of us. It's just a time to deal with losses in our life over the year, and as a way to sort of to be in a place of honoring the loss and the grief and just the turn to the darkness, which is beautiful. It's not a right or wrong. It's the pattern of things. There's a time for the darkness. There's a time for the grief. There's a time for going in. There's a time for all of that. Let's honor that. And then we'll be in that, you ready? And so come on December 4th. Oh, and this Thursday, I know I'm getting the hook. This Thursday is Women of Unity luncheon. Okay, that's it.